premiers, the one we've got now, which is new brand new, Chrissy Clark. She lives in Vancouver in our home. And Gordon Campbell was also home in Vancouver. So both our last premiers, our current premier and our previous premier, most of them seem to come from Vancouver. But I think back to the others.
Do they have apartments or condominiums here when they're sitting, or they have
Yeah, members of parliament. I think they some do. Probably a combination of everything above. Some have their own condos, some stay in hotels. Well, some stay in the Empress Hotel, which is right ahead of us, the same way.
which is very pretty. Are these the
I'll
same?
turn in towards the legislative building for you to have a look. And get a nice picture. The legislative buildings over there are designed by the same architect that did the Empress Hotel. His name was Francis Brackenwood. He's only 25 years old when he came to Victoria. And he entered a contest because the government of the day was looking for somebody, we're talking 1893, somebody to build a new government building down pointing towards. Well, he was 25 years old, he'd hardly done a single building when he arrived from England. But he entered the contest and as an inspiration for a design, he used an Indian temple.
Oh,
And if you look at that building, it has some resemblance, or it could have. The statue on top is supposed to be Captain George Vancouver, but most people in Victoria think it's Wayne Gretzky, the hockey player. That's a hockey stick. The tree is a sequoia, and that was a gift from the state of California 165 years ago. And by the way, it's doing very well. It likes Victoria. But to keep it a secret, right? We're not going to have any more sequoias up here for the best. And of course, with the Swim Shore race coming on tomorrow, the more sales. Leave her behind next time you come and visit us, okay? She's got all the answers.
Will you ask the question?
I like your answer today. I like you. I think the rumors make you like you. This goes way out to there, that's about 50k, close to 100 kilometers maybe, and they'll turn the Swim Shore back and then come on the way back in. We're talking about boats, folks. Look on our right-hand side, those two vessels there, aren't they pretty? Now they're not that old, they're both built fairly recently. The green one nearest to us was built in 1986 at Expo. And you can see its tradition is absolutely perfect with design. The one behind, the black one, is actually more recent. It's a schooner. Now, both those vessels belong to a society called SALTS. Stands for Sail and Life Training Society, a company. Now, some of you may not know that name. It was a British company. It was incorporated in 1671, so it makes it the oldest company in the world. But they were a company of explorers and traders, and kind of acting under the crown, they were involved in much of the exploration and settling a considerable amount of the West. They were, however, originally down between the state of Washington and the state of Oregon on the Columbia River. And that's where Vancouver, Washington is. Some of you may know that name. Now, by the 1850s, they really didn't need a port anymore, so they pulled it down. And if you look directly ahead of us, a couple of old buildings, they've been empty for many, many years, and you don't need me to tell you that. You can see the condition they're in. But the lighter colored one actually was the Hudson's Bay Company trading store following the demise of the fort in 1850. They didn't have a jail anymore, so the lower basement windows became the city's first jail outside of the fort. Later on, a few years later, they built a building next to it. It's a little newer looking, and it was the first bank in the city. I always say conveniently located next to the jail.
Yeah.
But at any rate, Mrs. Kramer, dear old soul, she's about 96 here in Victoria. Her husband about 25 years ago said to her, now dear, when I'm dead and gone, bed. So old roads have been ground up, and then they reuse that and recycle it back into new roads. So there's a significant amount of that happening. In fact, a magazine, just recently I read a business article, and it said that absolutely nuts, because it's the first time I've seen a barge of this size with that many cars coming in here. I just do not know, because I know Victoria drivers are bad, but man, oh man, this will take the cake. You know, there's a possibility, somebody said they're probably coming in from Vancouver as well. And because we grind them and they go to Seattle, it makes sense to bring a barge load of cars from Vancouver. they'll be ground here, and then we'll then send the ground steel down to Seattle. The bird boxes. And then on further sort of looking, we realized there were little doors on the bird boxes. That's when I found out actually what happened. Because I looked up Google, and I always look up Google. It's like going to better than Encyclopedia Britannica. And I looked up Google and put in Purple Martin, Victoria Harbour, and the Society, obviously. So I got hold of them, and they're the ones who told me what they do. They were later getting to appear, this side. And continues to go to about, it gets to about 1.5 meters, 3 meters, no, 2 meters max. So it's rushing over the rocks. I got a picture of that in the other boat. So you can't see it tonight because obviously, you see me drifting?
Yeah.
That's a bad thing. Because if we get through there, we like it. At high tide with this boat with only 2 foot draw, we'd get through. But the chances of getting back may not be as good because it'll be then rushing that side and we won't get it back. So we basically make the turn here. So it with a clamp, why would you use a rake? They said we're looking for bottles. You see, this hotel back in the early 1900s, patrons would be up there on the bank. They'd throw these bottles into the water, kind of like who pays for the next round maybe. Well, bottles from 1900 are worth a pretty penny on eBay. And that's kind of the background to that.
Well, the limestone, yeah, you can see where it goes up to there. That was all originally flat.
The piece of the high street that was
Yeah, I talked about that when we get something in there. No. I just don't want you to, yeah. No.
ここサンクンガーデンって一番写真撮るストップってとして有名なんですけど、ここ皆さんが見下げてるところは撮った後で、もともとの土地が塊残ってると思うんですけど、あれは岩の質が悪すぎて削れなかった場所がたまたま残ってる。
Gray limestone that's exposed is exactly what all of this would look like if Jenny Butchart hadn't, with her artist's vision, hung off the walls themselves and tucked ivy wherever she could into the rock so that it softened the appearance. This mound of limestone that you see in the center of the gardens, which on your map is indicated like a lookout, is in fact that. It's a 360-degree lookout in the center of the sunken garden. But the reason that it was left, when we walk past it, you'll see that there's this huge streak of orange in the rock. Too much iron. Not suitable for use in cement manufacture, and that's why it was left. So before anybody was talking about feng shui, at least in this country, Jenny Butchart was going, okay, well, what does one do with a great big hunk of rock in the middle of your garden? You make a lookout. And let's go down the house. Now, the features, again, you'll notice there is another of the waterfalls. Again, same story. Wow. Right? And this fountain is not only lit at night, but during the winter months is hydraulically submerged. And there are other fountain heads just under the surface of the water that pop up that use a larger droplet of water. So there's no risk of creating freezing rain conditions which would damage the surrounding environment. So the Ross Fountain is the second example of Mr. Robert Ian Ross developing this series of birthday gifts that he kept giving back to his grandmother's gardens. So the gardens started in 1904 when Jenny Butchart started planting roses and sweet peas around her house, and they decided to make it home. Okay. In 1954, after Mr. Robert Ian Ross, their grandson, had inherited the gardens, In 1954, he thought, okay, it's time to give back. So he buried miles and miles of underground cable and began our night illumination program, which we still have today. The Ross family.
I could pay $2 to go on so you can film it.
Help yourself.
Come see the beautiful rhododendron over here, bright pink ones. Right there.
Okay.
Are you filming?
Yeah, you can walk up there and I'll get you. I want to get the panorama here.
Yeah, I think they're helping far home. Well, the bees like this little bush. If anybody wanted to take a picture of a bee, this would be the spot.
Oh yeah, during the week we work 6 to 2:30 Monday to Friday. There's about 50 gardeners. Most people so much because each garden is just so different.
And so, do you have to study at university to come here?
No, actually, it's a lot of.
Could you please tell me what the species of that tree is?
Which one?
The tall one?
This tall one right here? That's a Deodora.
Oh, is that this one here?
Yeah. Okay. As is this one, but this is a very sickly little one, so that's probably gonna have to be taken out pretty soon. But that's nice.
Taken out.
I want to know if there are any channel catfish in that pond. Should have asked that girl.
Huh?
I said I should have asked that girl.
I think this one's pretty.
Mm-hmm.
Let me take some of you on the movie camera. We don't have any pictures of you.
Maybe we need more animated stuff. See this thing here spinning? And okay, I'm going to interview you now this morning.
You got the cap on.
Oh, now I'm going to interview you. Well, why don't you come over here and stand, and as the ferry gets up against the fence there, get up all the way up against that fence so I can interview you. This is, we're interviewing Bonnie Meese here this morning as she stands and looks at the ferry. This is our first trip out of the United States of America for any extended period of time.
And so far we haven't gotten into any trouble. We haven't gotten any tickets.
And the ferry that
We
is...
actually haven't gotten lost either.
No, and the ferry that is going to take us from Canada, British Columbia, actually we're in Sydney, BC, is approaching, as you can see in the background there. That will take us to a city north of Seattle called Anacortes, and there are we have to go through the San Juan Islands, which you can see in the background. And the San Juan Island area is a home of the orcas, several family pods of orcas. We might see orcas, but you never know. It's a sunny day. It's very, very warm.
We haven't seen any whales as we've been on the ferries, but we've seen seals and maybe a dolphin. We weren't sure.
Yeah, I saw a whale the other day. She had pink leotards. She had, no, not you.
Not me.
This one had pink leotards. And when her phone beeper went off, a little kid said, "Get out of the way, she's backing up." And anyway, actually, Bonnie, you could be in a prison here. You got this barbed wire behind you. I could be
I know.
I could be.
You want me to stand against the fence with? Looks like I'm in prison.
Now this ferry is a little bit different. You can already see. Look how you can see right through it. So the cars are exposed on either end. I think this is more similar to the one that we rode across Lake Champlain that time. I don't think it was. It didn't seal up.
Since we're the first car in our line, you better set the emergency brake once you get in there.
Yes, in case park fails, you would be. That's our little HHR, whatever that is, which is. You can see the windshield doesn't lay back as far as the other vehicles, and I should have insisted on a sunroof car, although it's performed fine.
Yeah,
It's got comfortable
fine.
seats. And now we'll do a little zoom in here. You see the mouth of that baby. One of these attendants described the landing of the ferries as a controlled crash landing each time they do it, but they seem to be
Stick the lens through the hole in the fence.
Bonnie says put the lens through the hole in the fence so there will be no interruption on the view, I guess. Wife is going to tell us what day it is.
Well, we are into Saturday now, and it's probably.
I think this is Sunday, but go ahead.
Oh yeah, this is Sunday now. We're on our way to go over to see Buddy and Barbara Bland and their family in Washington. And right now today it's probably at least 60, wouldn't you think? We've had a sunshiny day, but the past couple of days we've had cloudy, drizzle weather, and
Well,
when we
I
were
wouldn't
from
s-
Shark Gardens, it was drizzly in the morning and
Yeah.
then sunshiny in the afternoon. So, but we've had pretty good weather
I
all
think that's
around,
pretty common for this area.
considering what time of year it is.
This is Wednesday. This is Thursday. This is Friday Harbor. Friday Harbor. Driver the passenger, the vehicle going to Friday Harbor should be at your car. No passenger going to Friday Harbor should be on the automobile that platform.
looks like a water taxi or something.
Maybe an interesting picture. Thing falling out of my hand.
Islands and more islands, huh?
Yeah. This would be Buddy Bland, alias the Grill Master. And he's demonstrating the, what's it called again? This is the.
Oh, it's a Traeger.
This is the Traeger, the latest and greatest in barbecuer slash smoker slash pellet burning inferno.
Yeah, little pellet burner that's supposed to be a smoker. And
Buddy's customized this thing. It has the bricks, the heat bricks in the bottom. This is Buddy's red Go Devil right here, and the two collector cars that he has is the Galaxy and the Cadillac convertible. And now, what are we doing, Sir Buddy?
Oh yeah, I'm adding some hickory wood pellets to my mesquite.
Hickory with the, oh my goodness, do you have to stir them or you just throw them in there and...
I put them in there.
You don't blend them? Now you're blending them?
Yeah.
Cool.
So that'll, little combination. That's my secret mix. But it's going to be heavier on hickory today.
Yeah, it looks like rabbit pellets.
Yeah. Hopefully it's not.
The temperature now reads
70 degrees.
Is that because the lid is open?
Yeah. I'm supposed to leave the lid open until I start to see white smoke up here and there. Back. I'll close it up, bring it up to temperature a little.
We got smoke, buddy.
There it is.
Oh, I see. I get the chimney.
Yeah, crank it down to keep as much smoke in there as possible. See how greasy that's gotten.
And the little bucket on the side there, that's the little grease catcher?
Yeah. It actually does a pretty decent job. We call that a little antiquated, but it works.
Now these ribs that we're putting on here, what are they? Are the, oops, oh man, I think you fell down. They are the baby back?
Baby back ribs. Just a little...
And your secret sauce on them?
Oh, it's pretty much salt and pepper and then a secret little light dry rub that I put on there.
Okay.
The trick is the amount of time.
Don't get in a hurry, huh?
Don't get in a hurry. And then the last part is to braise them. Get smoke in them first and then braise them afterward. Which reminds me, I gotta stop and get some the secret braising liquid.
All right. How does that look, folks? That's not bad.
We'll see how they look later
Oh my
on.
goodness, look at that big slab. Oh, it's so meaty.
I have rib racks too that I can go sideways with them.
Oh, this is the same little smoker that your neighbor has. Tell it where you're at.
Well, you tell it. You're the talker.
Oh, Tom.
Oh, I better take the lens cover off, and then we can tell it where it's
Okay, we're in Snoqualmie, Washington. They have a railroad museum here, and that's what we're going to visit. They also have a Snoqualmie Falls, which should be beautiful.
We got lost getting here. That's why we weren't here. And there's public restrooms, which Bonnie's looking for. It's a beautiful little village. They got the neatest.
This is a 1902. Looks like it used to be a hotel at one time, but now it's a grill, little restaurant, and
Nice walkway. I bet they give rides.
I don't think that thing's moved in years.
Yeah, and huh?
I've been that way. I'm going this way.
Well, it's just the same place you were in. It's just the gift shop.
You know, I haven't been in there yet.
Oh, I thought you went in.
Look,
Yeah.
I've been in this room up in here, where it tells about the avalanche.
Uh-huh. Could build a rail car like this. Put some old stuff on it. Yeah.
This is a really old-looking train.
It looks old, but technically it's kind of interesting because these were very, very powerful electric trains because they have a dam here somewhere. They had all kinds of electricity.
Hydroelectric. Man, that's a hard little seat that poor engineer had to sit on.
Yeah, he had to bring his own cushion.
It's okay?
Yeah.
Should we go see the falls now?
He said that the train ride is like, it doesn't go fast obviously, and it's only 5 miles of track. So it'd go out and back. That's about like,
Does it have a turnaround, or does it just go down and then have to back up all the way?
well, I don't know. That's kind of the way the one was that when we went with Illinois up at Aurora area, or where Rockford area. Yeah, Morongo or whatever it was called, and Snoqualmie. She said this town is a real flooding. She lived here and her house flooded, and she moved to Seattle, so she drives up here to work. She said, if you drive around town, you'll see people are trying to raise their houses up. She said, really a neat mural.
took my socks off too. I was like, just kidding.
It's cracked. It doesn't affect the playback, but it's
I taught her how to take
got a crack in it.
Aww. Thanks, Michelle.
Thank you. Thank you.
You about fouled it up. She almost took it back in the kitchen.
There
there
was
a while.
more in there. Was more in there.
Remember, give me that
Remember
card.
there?
Give me that card.
You reduced.
Oh.
You'll never know how much more you could have. Hey, Lena. I forgot about you over there.
Oh, start over. Now I got it. Happy anniversary, Cindy and Jay.
Thank you guys very much. We appreciate it.
15-year anniversary. And here's Katie celebrating her 8th grade graduation
I like the bracelet I got.
on her birthday.
You found another card?
I got 2 more.
Wow, they just keep multiplying. I wish that happened to me.
Thank you, Grandma.
And Mike, did you open your card yet?
I did, thank you.
All right. Thank you.
Don't forget Josh.
And Joshua Baker, did you open your card?
He got his 19th birthday card.
How many did you get?
$40.
Ooh, sounds good to me. Lena, how you doing there?
It wasn't in the car, but I just kept the keys in my purse.
I'll just steal the dog.
18 years old.
17.
Don't make her older than
17.
Yeah, I'm not that old
Don't
yet.
rush it.
Cat old.
That's like ancient.
No, I just haven't graduated yet until I was 18 and hadn't graduated and then turned 19.
You could be a super senior like Charlie.
Yeah, I'd be a super senior, and I don't want to be a super senior.
Yeah.
And Larry Baker,
Charlie will be,
senior.
you better be a good
Yes.
boy. Charlie will be the one
you
that'll
gonna open your
sacrifice.
cards now?
Not yet. Oh. 19.
Is he out, I think 20?
Have a beard.
Tom, did you like your card?
Yes, welcome. Very good. And you do, Michelle.
What?
Hap-
And you do.
Thank you, Malene.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
I'm sitting beside a neophyte.
A neophyte.
Yeah. Right here.
Oh.
He's fighting.
What is it?
Fighting a knee.
His knee surgery.
If Pete can be a shoe height, Larry can be a neophyte.
Is that an ancient tribe?
Oh.
I think we've
You're
heard
little
this.
bitty?
I think we've heard
You're
this.
little bitty?
I think we've heard this little bitty.
It's the 32 million little bitty things.
That's his Father's Day card.
Okay.
Thank you.
Oh no, it wasn't little bitty. It
He
was
does many little itty bitty
the
things.
Outcats, wasn't it?
Oh, the Outcats.
Was that Josh's?
Yeah, that was mine.
The cat, meow. And then I got pictures of Katie.
Like a drug dealer.
I don't qualify for anything at this shindig birthday wise.
What do you got there?
What?
Oh, her graduation
She got a roll?
card.
She's got a heavy duty roll.
Yeah, I don't know if the camera can pick that up or not.
Makes a
Maybe.
shot.
What have you wanted for a while?
So we're going to shopping tomorrow.
Get dressed, recommended but not required. Read birthday cards from people who like you. Smile, you'll need this for step 5. 5. Be happy because you're truly a bad person. A wonderful person. Happy 70th birthday.
This should be in that tray like a white.
Paula, Larry, Josh, and Charlie.
We thought she'd appreciate the list.
Because I'm always making lists.
Y'all get it.
Yeah.
It's the list.
Oh, yeah.
It's the list.
But you know what? They needed to be taped in different
I
locations.
know. Sticky.
This one, oh, it's got a bunny rabbit on the front of it. Kill me or something. Well, I'm not having any more kids, so I don't know why you've got a bunny rabbit. Oh, from Martha.
Oh, you know what? That's an Esther original, I
I
believe.
thought it looked like an
That is a
original.
vintage. Yes,
Oh
she
my
painted that.
Gosh, how did she manage to give that up,
Hit it
Martha? Bonnie, may our Lord bless you with this next year. I am blessed to know a godly woman like you. So happy to celebrate with you. The picture is by Esther Mullane.
You should frame that. You could put it up at Easter.
Oh, yeah.
That'd be cute. Huh?
Well, as soon as I saw that, I thought of Esther, and I thought, well, maybe Katie is drawing that well now.
Mom, the funny thing was I could kind of see that rabbit from across the room. I thought, wow, that looks like my mom's rabbit.
I don't see a card on this.
That's from Paula.
Oh, you already gave me that.
Yeah, we'll live it up.
This is all warmed up.
That was Mother's Day. That wasn't your birthday.
Oh, was it?
The bird was
Boy,
Mother's
I like
Day.
the tulips.
Just
Beautiful.
like that park on your
Nice
trip.
try.
Yeah, I thought for your little trip.
Does it smell? With some goodies inside. Ooh.
Open it up and then you'll smell. No, it wasn't me.
It smells good.
Does it smell? That's all. It smells all.
It's
That wasn't me, I swear.
a happy heart. Goes with your card.
I'm all coordinated
You're
like.
very coordinated. I got some
It's homemade.
body cream, perfume, and what is this?
It's a purse roller.
Movies?
Twist it.
For perfume?
How about videos?
So you're supposed to go like, so
like
sorry,
the
or pull the
Nintendo
top off.
or
I don't know.
the-
Yeah, there you go. See, it's a roller ball.
Oh, how handy.
Oh, cute.
Alright.
But if you look at the front, it says frog off.
You're welcome.
Very good. Thank you, Charlie. Thank you, Josh.
Look at this card, Cindy. You look at it and then pass it. Martha
Oh my
made it.
gosh, I got so many presents.
You have to see the sew on the mushroom, and then read it carefully.
Oh my gosh.
You got new silverware?
Somebody's taking pity on me. Mom and Nana, some people have good looks, some people have charm, some have intelligence. You have all these plus us to wish you a happy birthday. We love you and are sincerely happy to celebrate with you, the Mullanes. And they gave me some silverware.
Yay!
Nice.
Very nice. Thank you.
So get out there and cook another meal.
Yeah, by Onita. Very nice. Servers for you. Mine was getting kind of raunchy. You must have noticed. Okay. Boy, this is.
You're hauling in the goods.
I'm hauling it in, I tell you.
Way to go, Mom. Just toss it over your head. The days of folding and saving are
What
over.
you got in here
She's
anyway?
excited. There you go. Isn't that so good? It's liberating.
Oh my gosh, what? Who is this from?
It's from us.
Easter
double
bunny.
set.
A Livingware Geometric 16-piece Corel set.
It's very cute.
Yeah, go Vanna White on it.
They don't have a pretty hands. No, it's just
We'll be the judge of that.
Yeah, exactly. Vanna White
There you
gets
go.
from nothing for me. She got it at the end.
Well, so, Jay, you can open this for me.
He's got the pocket knife.
Oh, I wonder what could be in this one. Let me see.
Soap on a rope.
Kubla says.
Everything left is glasses.
More dishes.
Oh, you got the double. Invite a whole bunch of people over the party.
Yeah.
Very nice.
Very
Now when we
nice.
come back and put to July, we want to see. Now, if it's not the pattern,
It's got all the
you
colors,
can
too.
change. But I thought it kind of went with.
Yeah, it does. Got the green and the brown and the beigey. There, let me see. Closer.
You get all really back all the old
Bow.
mismatched stuff.
You're
That's
like licking your phone.
White.
You're licking your phone.
It's nice. I like the green.
They're like,
That's really good.
they're like the ones she has.
Oh, you'll
but
love
she
this.
wanted new ones.
He's big enough to get your hand
There
there.
you go.
Look at grab. You can even get your big hand in there. Give it a try.
Is it a two-finger or one finger?
Now we can get rid of those
It's almost a
mixed
tour.
match cups that we got.
I'll bring them to my wedding.
It's nice.
You want my
He's got his
mismatch?
fingers in there.
Mismatch.
I'll bring them to work if you don't, before you get rid of them.
I was just getting used to that old
Thank you.
Unless you want to donate it.
Wow, thank you guys. That was.
Take it before you break it. That's a nice cup. Oh, you would drink out of a chipped old.
You'll like that cup, Tom. That's just like a.
That's the way you like it. That's
Yeah,
the way you like
if you don't blow it.
See, look, you don't even need to use the handle. You could just, manhandle it.
I gotta say goodbye to all my old friends.
Say hello.
He's all crying.
Say hello to your new stylish friend. Oh. Happy.
He's like this.
I always have my big
Can't
lock
even look at it.
to fall back on.
You can keep
minus
it
with his little baby?
Yeah.
He's enjoying
I'm waiting
his
for
oatmeal
something to
cookie
blow up.
right
It's
now.
I've been working on it since last year.
Katie's on the same level with me.
Those cookies are
Hand
stale?
chiseling, the dovetailed.
I noticed all that
Easy to
dovetail.
adjust.
Mike braided the rope.
You're just a liar.
Lena stained it.
This is for you guys? This is an actual legitimate thing? Yeah. Oh, I'm serious. I'm waiting for something to come flying out of it.
No, it's
Katie,
good.
drew
It's beautiful.
How come it says Cabela's?
Did
you guys make this?
Part of the whole. Yes, we made it.
Oh, you did not.
Can you smell the?
I
Open it
smell
and
it.
take away.
can smell
I
it.
smell it.
Well, if
We
you made
found
that,
a
you better
kit.
go into business.
We found a kit. We built it.
Because you're the box man, Dad.
I totally
Katie
smell
had the screwdriver on the hinge.
dairy smell to it.
It's made out of Jerry Post wood. Recycled wood hutch, calf hutch.
See the other one. Holy.
Smell the
You
wood.
can keep all your ammunition in there.
You put your
Oh, that's
ammo
bad,
or your
dude.
DVDs or your oatmeal cookie.
I feel ammo.
Get your cookie
Or Fluffy.
He's got the handles on
Don't
the
even
side.
say it. That's what Fluffy needed.
Instead of a Nike box.
I don't know what I think he actually had a good box.
boxes anyway.
Now, was Fluffy in a cardboard box or a wood box? Didn't you find a cigar box? No, that'd be too little.
I think it was a wooden box.